Good morning, and welcome to my Monday messages. So, you may not know this about me, but at this time of year, during the summer, for years now, we have chosen to take on guests, paying guests, and we have a steady stream for quite a short period of time. And part of the process of that is that they leave reviews. And reading the reviews every year is an absolute game changer for me, and actually particularly for my husband, because it reminds us that although we are tending to focus on everything that's wrong about our house or the rooms or, whatever, not everyone does. So I wanted to actually remind everybody of the power of consciously stepping into somebody else's shoes, of actually understanding that not everybody sees the world in the same way that we do, and that perspective, that choice of lens, is not necessarily a permanent thing. It's not who we are. It's not an immovable thing. It's made up of lots of different components, actually. And we have the skills to actually change lenses whenever we want to. Whenever we feel that maybe what we're doing is bringing our energy down, or I hate the kind of down up thing, but bringing our energy into a very, we're not feeling good about the lens that we are adopting at any particular time. And that lens can be applied to life in general. It can be applied to, where we live. It can be applied to our relationships. It can be applied to, the parent-child relationship, the employer-employee relationship, and the other way around. It can be applied to the weather even. That when we choose to focus on things that are wrong, that need fixing, that are perhaps not in line with our values or our sense of aesthetics or whatever, what is the result of that? If the result is it's a driver for change and it galvanizes us into action, maybe that's okay, as long as it's a transitory thing. But these reviews are all, without exception, my reviews of our house and our hosting skills are really beautiful reminders of what people's takeaway is. Everybody comments on everything that is right about the house, everything that they appreciate about our house. They love the quirkiness of it. They love the paintings on the walls. They love the comfort. They love that we're both very friendly and welcoming, and we're good hosts, basically. Even though we may not be feeling those things, and we may be just noticing everything that needs fixing, the hinges that are loose, the paint that's peeling, the so-called garden that isn't really a garden at all, because my gardening skills are not great. Nobody notices all of that. It's only us that notices those things. So actually taking the time to read the reviews and really feel them enables us to actually see our house and ourselves through other people's eyes, through their experience. So we can do that. It's something that I do when I'm coaching practitioners, actually. And I very much encourage that if they have a bank of testimonials, of written feedback, that they go and read those really regularly to remind themselves of what's going well. And there's also value, obviously, in, if you're brave, in asking, well, do you think I can do anything better? That's something that if practitioners haven't already got a bank of, that I definitely encourage that you start that you actually begin by consciously stepping into someone else's perspective to find out what's going right. And also, if you want to, what could be added to that offer. But that can, as I said, it can be applied to anything. You know, in our relationships, we can often focus on what's going wrong and what's going right as well. We forget those. We may be, we may be groomed, if you like, coached into focusing on everything that's wrong. And as I say, that can be a driver for change. But if it becomes our permanent state, it's not very pleasant. It's not very pleasant for us because it takes a lot of energy, because we can't appreciate the good things, the things that are going right, the things that have, that we have created. And it doesn't really spread very positive, uplifting, creative energy to the people that are around us either. So what I wanted to do was just actually ask you, when was the last time you consciously stepped into somebody else's shoes in whatever situation? Can you do that in any part of your life that would actually enable you to actually select a slightly different lens? And you could start by just asking a simple question. What are the 3 top things that you, whoever you're asking, really value and appreciate about your experience of me, or of my house, or of my practice, or of my parenting, or of my daughtering, and it just shifts that perspective, and therefore it shifts our energy, which is the most important thing. The results are really widespread. First and foremost, we start to experience our lives from a different perspective. We can select a different lens, a different focus, and we start to actually be reminded of what is going well, what is right, what is what we've created, what we've achieved in our lives, rather than everything that's wrong, which is not a brilliant energy to be in all the time. We also, when we step into other people's shoes, and we appreciate that there is a different perspective, there is another perspective. In doing so, we expand our consciousness, we expand our ability to appreciate that there are different perspectives, and we are less inclined to invest valuable energy in trying to convince others that our perspective is the only perspective, which is hugely important. And we also start to integrate the knowledge that we have that choice, that we can select different lenses when we're not feeling that the lens that we've chosen for that particular thing is resulting in us feeling the way that we want to feel. When we expand our choices and when we start to understand that there are many, many different perspectives, and we let go of needing to convince others that ours is the only way, there's a freedom in that. And that's ultimately, I believe, what we're all after. There's a freedom in how we spend our energy, how we view things. It doesn't mean we're bypassing things. It doesn't mean that we won't still fix things, when they need fixing, or that we mend things when they need mending, or that we have boundaries and we have values. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that we are able to regulate ourselves much more effectively. And that's where the true gold and the true freedom lies. So what I wanted to do today was encourage you to perhaps just think about where in your lives can you consciously step into someone else's shoes and see things from their perspective, and particularly when it comes to the way that we regard ourselves. Another coaching technique that I would do sometimes with people is encourage them to seek out the 3 things that somebody else most loves about them, you know, and that can feel really uncomfortable to do that. But there's a freedom in that too, in inviting other people's perspectives, inviting other people's opinions, and then knowing that you have a choice about whether you want to take that on board or not, and use it in some way, in a positive way, or whether you can sit with it and understand that it's actually nothing to do with you and it's actually the other person's stuff. That's a whole different video. Anyhow, I hope that's helpful. Do let me know if it is. I would really appreciate some feedback, generally, actually, on these videos. I know some of you are really brilliant in your comments, and I'd love to encourage more feedback. Even if it's just a thumbs up, that would be really, really helpful. So thank you very much. And if you do want to investigate things like that further, then do click on the link with this video and we can have a chat. Okay, have a beautiful week. Thanks for listening.